what's up? It's time again to work on another build for Mark Rober's class. I did the original one with the chip launcher back there where it fired the chip at the camera. I did the whole job pretty well, but I have to do a secondary one now which has to do with electronics and art, which is actually something I tend to do a lot. If it wasn't painfully obvious already, I tend to make a lot of artistic things. I make them very frequently, every other day. I build stuff all the time. It's just how it is. I just make stuff very often. I'll do drawing, I'll do sewing, I'll do building things. It doesn't matter. I will always be building something one day or another, and it always ends up turning out either good or terrible. So naturally, this seems like something I'd kind of be in the ropes with already. However, I am not very familiar with electronics. I've just learned how to use an Arduino, and even then I barely know how to do the thing. That doesn't matter though, because I've already learned a little bit, and I think I can kind of get, a good idea of how to work with stuff. I bought some other electronic things, a bunch of wires with pins on the end of them, so I can do a whole ton of stuff with these. I got one Arduino and 7 breadboards and a ton of other random tiny little electronic bits. I think I'll be good to go. But basically, I have an idea for a little machine that I kind of actually need, but the machine doesn't really exist. You see, one thing that I have a problem with when making the sculptures is that I have to do a little bit of a thing where I have to texture them, by hand. So if I have something that requires, say, a bunch of tiny little dots in it, I have to do that by hand with a tool, back and forth repeatedly. For example, here's a sculpture of Thor's hammer I did a while back, and as you can see, there's a bunch of tiny little dots inside of there. And what I had to do for that was I had to take a tool and I had to individually poke dots into each single piece of the thing, which, if you can't tell, there are thousands. So I'm gonna make a way to automate it, which I'm going to be building a machine that's kind of like a metronome in which it goes back and forth repeatedly, except it's gonna be something where it actually holds one of my tools like this, and then it goes back and forth, and then it constantly just moves like that. So then I can kind of hit my little sculpture and I can have it clamped down to my desk. So then what I can do with it is I flip a switch, it turns on, and it goes back and forth repeatedly, and I can make it go hard, I can make it go hard, I can make it go soft, I can do whatever I want with it, and I can kind of make the textures do whatever they want, and I can also switch out the tools for it. So I think that it's going to be something that's very useful for me in the future, because frankly, I need this. I kind of have an idea of what I'm doing with this, but honestly, I'm just going to be building this as I go. I mean, I have a general idea of what it looks like, and I know the code, what I'm going to be doing for it, so I got that. Aside from that, though, I have no actual direction in which I'm going to be building this. I'm just going to follow the schematic for the code, put it into the Arduino, and then I'm going to be making it, I'm going to make it be powered by a 9-volt battery, and I'm going to have a big old switch on it so I can turn it on and off. So, I think that's going to be pretty good. So, come on and join me. Let's have some fun. Actually, what we first need to do is we need to take the code, and then we need to put it directly into the Arduino, because then, the thing can actually work. I kind of need that to do the thing, because if I don't have that, it's going to be a big problem. Open up Arduino, and I can actually copy and paste this code all the way from this website right over here to the little sketch desk thing. Isn't that convenient? Because I can take it from offline and put it here. I'm going to use the code for a metronome. It's going to make it so much easier, because that already goes back and forth, doesn't it? All I need is my little servo motor, and I'm good to go. Alright, the code's been uploaded. Now we just got to follow the schematic, and we got to build the thing. That's right. You know what time it is! Trial and error of getting this to work, I realized my problem was that the way that they set up this servo motor is they wired it wrong. So you see, you have the black wire first, red second, and then white third, correct? Well, on this bottom thing, they have white in the second spot, red in the third spot, and then black in the first. I don't understand it. But you know what? That doesn't matter, because I finally was able to connect everything up properly, and now that we do this, I have it down to my specifications. And now all that's left to do is to add this oversized switch, and then we're gonna get going. Alright, here we are. About 20 minutes later, I finally got everything all nice and assembled. You got your battery there, and then you got the switch all nice and wired up, going all the way down to the servo motor over there. And if you flick this switch, you go with that. It takes a second to boot, and then there you go. Hey there, it's the next day. I already put the electrical tape on everything, and I did all of that, and it's all looking nice. But the thing that I'm doing currently is I'm gonna just design this part on my bed for the arm that goes back and forth. Yeah, I'm just gonna 3D print that, and I'm gonna put it into CAD. Tinkercad. It's nothing special, but you're probably wondering why I'm not just sitting at the desk. That's because I put up 2 new shelves, and you're thinking, wasn't that like full of stuff before? Yeah, it's all here. So I'm just gonna do this on my bed, and then I'm gonna time lapse it. You get the drill, or rather not drill, because I'm actually doing it. That may not be a drill, but this is. Done, we can put our SD card right back into the printer, and then we can just get everything up and running. So it is the next day, and the project is going to be due within 6 hours, and now I can build this in that amount of time. It's not going to be too hard. However, I do not know how I'm going to build it. You see, I'm just going to build this thing as I go, because like someone told me you should make it look like a metronome, and I kind of like that idea to make it look like that, but I can't. It's kind of hard for me to do that since I would have to wire everything in a certain way to fit that little shape, and it doesn't. So we're just gonna make it like a box. Anyhow, the piece printed last night, and I ended up getting this thing, and I put a little set screw in it. This is the tool that I tend to use to make those little indents repeatedly, but I can unscrew this, and I can take this out, and I can put whatever I want in there, and I can make it about as wide as this, or I can make it all the way down to the bottom. Doesn't matter. It's gonna go great. You know what? I'll cut to the chase immediately, and I will just tell you what's gonna happen, and that is that I'm going to do another time lapse, and I know I've been doing them a lot frequently, and my response to that is shut up. I'm working with what I got. So, why don't we just begin this, and then we'll see what we get from there. You know the drill. The build is done. I made a box that stabs things. I mean, yeah, it does the job. It helps me make the little indentations in the clay. If I just move the clay around, it definitely does that. But yeah, this is it. I made a box that moves. So that about wraps it up. I'm gonna be making a video for the third build too. Don't you worry. It's gonna be great. And you know what? I'm gonna add some other stuff into the third video too. You're gonna see it. It's gonna be a good time. But I hope that was kind of enjoyable to watch. And to the people who in the class are probably gonna see this, hope you had fun with it. And to the people who for some reason subscribed to my channel in the past couple of weeks, just expect more chaos. Not just the Mark Rober videos, but I got some other stuff planned, so don't you worry.